Sure, they weren't exactly aerodynamic marvels, and yes, those forward-mounted wing windows may have nudged your fuel economy in the wrong direction. But what they did offer was something modern cars just can't quite replicate: pure, uninterrupted, refreshing air. With a simple flick, they funneled a breeze straight into the cabin. No need to blast the AC or crack every window. On a scenic drive or a sunny afternoon, they brought the outdoors in, effortlessly, and in an era where retro design is making a roaring comeback, think Ford Bronco, Volkswagen ID Buzz, we say, bring them back. Because no digital climate control can match the feeling of tilting open a little glass triangle and letting the road's rhythm fill your ride. It's not always about MPG. Sometimes it's about the experience. Once a standard feature in nearly every car, the ashtray was more than just a place to tap your cigarette. It was built into dashboards, door panels, even back seats. A quiet nod to a time when smoking and driving went hand in hand. But the ashtray wasn't just for ashes. It doubled as a coin holder, a stash spot, or a catch-all for whatever didn't belong in your pockets. It was small, simple, and surprisingly useful. As smoking declined and drivers prioritized clean, odor-free interiors, ashtrays slowly disappeared. In their place, cup holders, USB ports, and sleek storage trays. Today, the in-car ashtray is nearly extinct, a dusty reminder of another era, where every road trip came with a matchbook and a place to flick the ashes. Before USB ports and wireless chargers, there was the unmistakable glow of the cigarette lighter. Push it in, wait for the click, and just like that, a perfectly heated coil, ready to spark up your next smoke. For decades, this was a standard feature in every car, as common as the steering wheel itself. But times changed. As health awareness grew and smoking rates dropped, the lighter lost its primary purpose. What once lit cigarettes now powers phone chargers, dash cams, and GPS units, repurposed as the humble 12V outlet. Today, the cigarette lighter is a fading memory of long drives, crackling radios, and a time when a glowing coil meant you were ready to roll, functional, iconic, and now almost entirely obsolete. There was a time when knowing how to drive meant mastering the clutch, when every shift was a choice, every gear change a connection between man and machine. Manual transmissions weren't just common, they were a rite of passage. The stick shift wasn't just a tool, it was freedom. For generations, learning to drive a manual meant understanding your car on an intimate level, feeling the RPMs, listening to the engine, being in tune with the machine. But convenience took the wheel, as automatic transmissions became smoother, faster, and more efficient. The clutch pedal slowly vanished from showroom floors. Today, manuals are rare, an endangered species living on mostly in sports cars and among purists who refuse to let go. It's no longer the standard, but for those who still shift their own gears, it's not about practicality, it's about passion. Rich Corinthian leather, the phrase alone oozes luxury. In the 1970s and 1980s, Chrysler made sure you believed your car's interior was lined with something rare, exotic, almost royal. Promoted by actor Ricardo Montalban with unmatched elegance, it became one of the most famous car marketing slogans of all time. But here's the truth. Corinthian leather wasn't from Corinth. It wasn't even particularly special. It was standard leather, cleverly rebranded to sound like. It belonged in a Grecian palace. Still, it worked. It sold cars. It sold dreams. As time rolled on and consumers became more informed, the illusion faded. Priorities shifted toward real luxury, sustainability, and honest craftsmanship. Today, Corinthian leather is a symbol of an era when words had just as much horsepower as engines. A soft, supple reminder that sometimes perception was everything. Back in the day, shifting gears didn't mean reaching for the center console. It meant going up. The 3-on-the-tree shifter, mounted right on the steering column was a staple from the 1940s through the 1970s. Simple, space-saving, and surprisingly smooth, it let drivers shift through 3 forward gears without taking their hands far from the wheel. It was the setup for Sunday drives, road trips, and first driving lessons, a mechanical dance that became second nature for millions, but as automatic. Transmissions took over and more gears were added. The tree shifter slowly disappeared. It couldn't keep up with evolving tech, and by the 1980s, it had become a fading memory. Today, the 3 on the tree is a relic of a more hands-on driving era, when the road met the rhythm of your fingertips. Before buttons ruled the doors, you had to earn your fresh air. Manual window cranks were once standard in almost every car. A quick twist of the wrist, and your window was up or down. No electricity needed, just a little elbow grease. They were simple, reliable, and virtually indestructible. But as technology moved forward and convenience became king, power windows quickly took over. One touch replaced a full spin, and the crank quietly faded into history. Today, spotting a manual window crank feels like discovering a forgotten relic, a charming reminder of when cars made you work just a little harder for comfort. Back in the day, activating your high beams wasn't a flick of the finger. It was a tap of the toe. Older cars featured a floor-mounted switch tucked beside the clutch pedal, giving drivers full control of their headlights with a quick press. From the left foot, it was simple, mechanical, and felt just right for the era. But with progress came problems. Dirt and moisture would jam the switch, and accidental activations weren't uncommon, especially on bumpy roads. As vehicles modernized, high beam controls migrated to the steering column, cleaner, safer, and easier to use. Today, the floor-mounted dimmer switch is a quirky reminder of a more analog driving experience, one footstep at a time. If you grew up in the 70s or 80s, you probably remember the thrill of riding backward. Rear-facing seats in station wagons were a childhood rite of passage, a window to the world behind, perfect for waving at strangers or making faces at the car behind you. It wasn't just seating, it was an experience. Families piled in, luggage stacked high, and kids claimed that back row like it was first class. But as safety standards evolved and the minivan and SUV took over, this quirky design disappeared. Concerns about rear-end collisions and proper restraint systems led to its quiet exit from the automotive world. Today, the rear-facing wagon seat is a symbol of carefree family road trips, when seatbelts were optional and the road behind was just as interesting as the one ahead. In the 1990s and early 2000s, if you wanted to keep your car stereo safe, you took it with you, literally. Detachable faceplates were the ultimate anti-theft solution. Pop it off, slide it into your pocket or a case, and walk away knowing your tunes wouldn't disappear overnight. It was clever, but clunky. Most drivers forgot, or just didn't bother. And let's be honest, carrying a radio faceplate into the grocery store wasn't exactly convenient. Fast forward to today, and the landscape has changed. Built-in infotainment systems, Bluetooth streaming, and integrated security features have made the detachable faceplate a thing of the past. Now, it's just a quirky memory of a time when keeping your stereo safe meant taking part of it with you. There was a time when starting your car meant more than just turning a key. It meant choosing the right one. Older vehicles, especially from manufacturers like General Motors, often came with 2 keys, one for the doors, another for the ignition. It was a quirky little ritual that every car owner knew by heart, but as automotive tech advanced, so did convenience. The 2-key system gave way to single-key designs, then to remote fobs and push-start buttons. No more fumbling, no more guessing. Just one smart solution to do it all. Today, those jingling keychains are a fading memory of a simpler, more mechanical era when even unlocking a door had its own rhythm. There was a time when every trunk came with peace of mind, the full-size spare tire. No compromises, no speed restrictions, just a real tire ready to roll when trouble struck. But as vehicles got smaller and fuel efficiency became king, manufacturers made room wherever they could. The full-size spare gave way to compact donuts, lighter, space-saving, and temporary. While donuts work in a pinch, they come with limits: reduced speed, short distances, and less stability. For many drivers, the full-size spare was more than just a backup. It was reassurance. Today, it's a rarity, a victim of modern design priorities. But for those who remember, nothing beat the confidence of knowing you had a real spare waiting in the trunk. Once upon a time, cars wore their identity proudly. Right on the hood, decorative hood ornaments weren't just branding, they were art. From leaping cats to winged goddesses to sleek chrome rockets like this one, these miniature sculptures gave every car a distinct personality. But as beautiful as they weren't built for the future. Safety regulations, pedestrian impact concerns, and the rising threat of theft slowly pushed them into extinction. Automakers shifted to flatter, badge-style emblems, more practical, less prone to damage, and easier to mass-produce. Today, hood ornaments live on mostly in museums, classic car shows, and high-end luxury models, a shimmering reminder of a time when design was just as important as horsepower, a symbol of elegance, now mostly seen in the rearview mirror of automotive history.